Shantanu, you can start by introducing yourself. I'm sorry, you are mute.
So sorry. Hi guys, my name is Shantanu. I lead the developer relations at Lumos Labs. Been in this Web3 space for almost 3 years, and there's no looking back. This is the most ever growing and ever emerging space that I've ever been in.
Yeah.
Lot of challenges, lot of overwhelming stuff happening. So yeah, I mean, been here, built multiple communities for Google, Hyperledger, and multiple more companies. So yeah, back here building, understanding the developer sentiment it's all I do on my day-to-day job basis.
Okay, that was a very great introduction. So we have our topic today. So today we will be talking about the Ethereum Shanghai upgrade. So we have some question from the audience, and so let me start by the first one. What is the Ethereum Shanghai upgrade, and what are the main feature or improvement of it?
Okay, so essentially, way back there was a new update and entire change of consensus that happened with Ethereum. So Ethereum shifted to POW to POS, and that was
Yes.
one of the major moves that Ethereum did. So Shanghai essentially is a hard fork of Ethereum protocol. So forks are basically changes in the protocol, blockchain's protocol. And in case of Shanghai, the fork was a hard fork. Usually what it means is the non-upgraded versions are usually no longer compatible with the upgraded versions. So that's what happens. So with Shanghai, what essentially happened is the non-upgraded nodes, right? So the nodes that are existent in the Ethereum network, they won't really work or participate in the staking and validation process. So that was one of the major breakthrough what Shanghai brought in. And Shanghai, another thing that Shanghai brought in was the validators can withdraw their staking ETH, right? So as you know that 32 Ethereum are required to become a validator on the Ethereum node, Ethereum protocol. So that's what Shanghai brought in. And Shanghai is relatively a smaller grade when compared to the merge that happened in the past fall,
Yeah.
which actually changed the course of the entire Ethereum ecosystem.
So like, how does this upgrade differ from the previous upgrade or hard fork of Ethereum?
Okay. So essentially, as I said, the Shanghai update is relatively a smaller upgrade when compared to the merge. But however, this particular update has a handful of additional improvements. There were a couple of EIP protocols, EIP proposals that were brought in. We'll also talk about the proposals very soon here. And
Yeah.
it also became a little cheaper. No, I'm not saying damn cheaper, but a little cheaper for developers to deploy their smart contracts, run their applications, and help them build a better DApp over the Ethereum network.
Okay, so the gas fees will be a bit cheaper in this new upgrade. And apart from this, like, what are more benefit or features in this upgrade? Like, what more extra thing will developers or the people will get?
Yeah. So there are two perspectives here. One is an investor perspective and one is a developer perspective. So I'll try to cover both of them in a bit by bit. So
Yes.
primarily, for the Shanghai update, the investors, the people who have invested, the Shanghai update is primarily incentivizing a lot of stakers who have already staked their Ethereum. So they can, if they wish to, they can withdraw their funds, and that's easily possible. So that's one thing that Ethereum has to offer. And there are a couple of three developer use cases that are brought in. Maybe we can talk more about in the next section as well. So it's a detailed three EIPs that were brought in. So Ethereum has their own infrastructure-based proposals that are brought in. So that's something that has been introduced in the Shanghai update.
Okay, so this was about benefits. Do you think that are there any risk or challenges related to this upgrade in the future or in the current Ethereum implementation?
Nothing as such though, because it is not a major update. But yeah, one thing that I personally feel, I mean, this is just my perspective. I feel is people who have staked their Ethereum have, I mean, there can be a little volatile activity happening if a lot of people start withdrawing their Ethereums out of the staked ones from their validator nodes. So that's one thing that I feel can be the only risk. That this is my perspective. And the other thing from a developer perspective, I don't see a lot of major changes happening. The rest are the same, right? So, yeah.
Yeah. the merge was like a biggest change of the Ethereum, and this is that not like big, but yeah, it's upgraded. So, how does the Ethereum Shanghai upgrade impact the scalability of the Ethereum blockchain?
Okay. So one way is, of course, the volatility of the prices, right? So, I mean, we can take a quick example of what happened when merge POS was launched.
Yeah,
Ethereum got steadily down, and people started putting out their coins as they felt Ethereum was no more the right chain. So, and Ethereum, as soon as Ethereum started using the beacon chain, as they have merged the beacon chain, and it's relatively little faster with what used to happen with POW, and there are a lot of resources that are being saved. However, if with the Shanghai update, the user can experience a little lower gas fees, making it cheaper to transact on the Ethereum network. Well, this also implies that decentralized application transferring digital assets can be a little more interesting and as well as easy for user to do it.
the transactions and everything, right? So, is there any change in consensus mechanism or mining algorithm as a part of this upgrade? And what implication do these changes have right now?
Nothing major as such. There's nothing major change that needs to be addressed. In this case, as I said, it's a small upgrade. But there are three EIPs, Ethereum improvement proposals that are out and that are deployed with the Shanghai update. So one is warm Coinbase addresses. This is the one of the EIPs in the proposals out there. Next is push zero instruction. If I'm not wrong, yeah, this is the one that is being upgraded with it. So what happens is, most of the smart contract auditors, smart contract writers, developers who write smart contracts on a day-to-day basis, they know a lot of instructions that expect the offset as inputs, which in case numbers are zero. So, push zero, basically it helps you push the constant value of zero onto the stack. That's the purpose of this proposal. So that's being initiated, and there is like the limit and meter init code. That's an extension of EIP 170. That's also being launched. So these are three things that the developer or maybe the person who has a deep dive into Ethereum ecosystem, look up to.
So it's mainly focused on the experience of developers, right? So we have one more question, but I think you have already answered this one. The question is, how does the Ethereum upgrade affect the gas fees, transaction cost, and overall user experience? So I think you have already answered all these questions. So we can move forward to another one. What are the potential impact of Ethereum Shanghai upgrade on decentralized application, smart contracts, and overall ecosystem of the blockchain of the Ethereum blockchain?
Okay. There's nothing major potential impact on the decentralized applications of smart contracts because they are running the way they were running previously as well. So the only thing that you can see is, after Shanghai update, as I said, the throughput and the transaction throughput on the Ethereum network can be a little advanced. This can also impact the sidechains, the L2 that are built on top of Ethereum. So you can see a lot more, transactions, a little transaction speed. I'm not saying extensive, not 100K transactions per second on Ethereum and, at this point in time. But yeah, a little swift, a little more push towards a better transaction performance on the Ethereum network can be seen in the overall ecosystem right now.
Yeah, so there was also some news about this, right? So in the coming few years, there will be some more upgrades and there will be sharding, and the transaction speed will be like almost 100,000 transaction per second. I just read somewhere, right? So in the future, maybe after 2 or 3 years, we may see a very great leap in the Ethereum ecosystem, which will provide a better transaction speed, and it will be like similar to current layer 2 types, right?
Right.
So how is Ethereum community involved in the decision making process and implementation of Ethereum Shanghai upgrade or any other upgrades which happens?
Okay. So I mean, the entire Ethereum protocol is developed by a foundation called Ethereum Foundation, and there's nothing called a single platform that is being operated. So there is an interesting link. I think I can drop it in the chat, or maybe you guys can drop it in the chat. So Ethereum Foundation has Ethereum.org has a community different community on Reddit. You have on Discord. You have on a lot of Telegram groups. There are a lot of groups on Discord as well, which
Yeah,
through
I agree.
keep yourself updated on what's happening. And if you're a dev, if you're pretty excited to know more about what's in the next update, you can absolutely have a look at the project pipeline of Ethereum that's publicly available. Look at the GitHub on what are these guys building, and if you're a developer who wants to contribute to one of the implementations or next upgrade of what Ethereum is coming up with, you can anytime open up a PR, take up an issue, and work on it. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty accessible. Anybody today, if you know how to code, if you know how do you want to build, so you can absolutely be a part of it. I just dropped the link here. Here you go. So maybe you can spread it across to the community.
Yeah, sure. We will be sharing this in our YouTube description. So what you said, I completely agree with it. So there are also many grants available to use, right? So those who want to contribute something. For example, if someone is proposing a new EIP or something which is very beneficial, they also receive some kind of grant from Ethereum Foundation itself, or maybe some other foundation. So being a part of community and contributing towards this community, maybe Ethereum or any other community in Web3. So yeah, that's very easy to do and very accessible in current time because of all these Discord communities, Telegram communities, as you mentioned. And yeah, that's a very good answer. So what are the expected timelines and the milestone for Ethereum Shanghai upgrade, and how can the developers stay updated on its progress?
Okay. So I think Shanghai is already there out there, right? So I mean,
Yeah,
it is out. I mean, there is nothing new change. There is no change log. It's not an application, right? So you cannot really see the change in UI and stuff. So that's the beauty of the protocols, right? So you can just experience, the transaction speed. You can experience the way it performs, and that's how you can, identify if there is an update or not. So if you want to know more about how the update happened, what are the change logs, feel free to look at the data that is available on the change logs on ethereum.org. It's openly available. You can have a check onto it. Yeah. And if you talk about, the how can developers stay updated, as I said previously, feel free to log into GitHub, check what people are building today, and feel free to contribute. And yeah, that's I think that's how I sum up this.
yeah. So the best part is like Twitter and Discord, everything, right? So you can follow the Ethereum in the Twitter or everywhere, and you can get all the updates related to the network itself, right? So that is also a very good answer. We are having some question from the YouTube, so let's wait for a minute, and then I'll ask. Give me a minute, right? So we have a question like, how does this upgrade or similar upgrade of Ethereum affect the pricing of this token ETH or the overall market, the pricing of this ecosystem? How does it affect?
I
You
want, yeah. So
okay?
I mean, I don't like to comment a lot on the pricings because I don't want to, misguide people should invest or not. I put my hands up under that. But on a honest note, I feel the prices can fluctuate a bit because people will stake out their Ethereum out of their own validator nodes. So you can see a price fluctuation, but again, it totally depends on the market sentiment, and I don't think I should be able to answer that question.
During this like upgrade, the merge and everything, so there are lots of people who try to scam people, right? So they create some fake tokens and ask them to buy this one, and like there are lots of price movement during this time. So users should like not follow this influencer for short-term gains, right? So this would be the overall answer, and what you said, like you mean this right only. So this was it. So do you think like um, Ethereum, this upgrade or the merge have affected the decentralization of the Ethereum chain, and this. So there were many tweets, and some people were commenting that this might affect the decentralization nature of the Ethereum itself. What are your thoughts for it?
I mean, I feel, when you say the essence of decentralization is lost, so I feel it's not really lost to one extent, because what Ethereum has to offer is still out there, right? People still know which node holds what amount of Ethereum, what amount of, what is the amount that is staying with a particular node. So it's just that I think the change of consensus mechanism a bit change. And I don't think there's a lot to be changed. So, but if you say there's if you say if you want a true centralized decentralized network, I think Bitcoin is the only way. But you cannot build on Bitcoin, right? And there's the only chain. I mean, the only developer centric chain and community driven decentralized chain that's out there is Ethereum. But of course, there's a big thing that's always being discussed is the blockchain dilemma, right? So three of the things needs to be solved, and I think it's still people are still figuring out how to solve three of them. But if any two of them are solved, I think I would give a 70% shot to them, saying, I would love to try them out. So the true essence of decentralization is still missing in the ecosystem, to be honest. But I think since the field is still evolving, it's just wait and watch and still keep building. I
Yeah,
think keep
it
building.
will take some time to evolve, and everything will develop thereafter. So you just mentioned about the Bitcoin network, right? So we have a question like, what is the difference between the Ethereum blockchain and the Bitcoin blockchain?
Okay. So again, Bitcoin is more on the grounds of transactions, wherein you can transact P2P payment systems, wherein you can transact money from one person to the other.
Yeah,
Ethereum, on the other hand, is more over a developer suite, right? So if you want the essence of decentralization, if you want your user to control their own data, and you want, build a smart contract, build a app, right? You can easily use Ethereum network to build. But again, Ethereum had their own shortcomings, and it's a community-driven application. So people started building their own L2s, which is the side chains and stuff, and they upgrade Ethereum to a better performance. So yeah, that's the basic difference between Ethereum and Bitcoin.
yeah, I agree. So in Bitcoin, like we can only send and receive money, right? But in Ethereum, we can develop on the top of the blockchain for developing other complex, trustless, decentralized application. So this is a major difference between the both chains, and yeah, that's all. So we have a more question. How is Ether used in Ethereum blockchain? Like, what are the use of the Ethereum in blockchain itself?
Okay, so Ethereum, as I said, Ethereum is a protocol, right? It's a blockchain protocol on top of which you can build, and Ether is its native currency. So I always take this analogy of country and currency, right? So if you have an Indian rupee, you cannot really buy a burger using 10 rupees in America.
Yeah,
So the PPP is different. PPP, sorry, people purchase power parity is different, right? So similarly, consider blockchain as a country, and to run a country, you need a currency, right? To run it, because blockchain is decentralization, and for a decentralized network to run, there are people who are putting out their energy, there are people who are putting out their brains. They need some cash to run it out, right? And even the networks come with a cost. The network cost is a cost, right? So these all things are evolved and happen due to a token currency or a cryptocurrency that is running on top of Ethereum. It's called Ether. So that's the basic difference. And there are Ethereum on multiple networks called a wrapped Ethereums. Let's say if you want to transact Ethereum on Binance, you can use wrapped Ethereum on Binance and Polygon as well. So they are Ethereum but wrapped over a different network, and they have a contract that is deployed on the mainnet of Ethereum. So whenever transaction happens, they move the transactions directly to the Ethereum chain.
okay, so that makes sense, right? So we have seen the Bitcoin, that wrapped Bitcoin version of in Ethereum chain or Polygon chain. So the way you said that it happens the similar way, right? So
Right.
so we have a more question. Uh, what are the challenges in decentralized application developments in current market? Like, if someone wants to develop a decentralized application, let's say he wants to develop a staking protocol or lending protocol, like, what are the challenges we need to face?
Okay. I mean, the Web3 space is full of challenges. So
Yeah,
it's not one and two. There are multiple that underliningly come one by one. One is, of course, the developer community. Because if you're developing something new and there are not a lot of content out there, right? So if you're building something on top of, let's say, Docker, Node.js, if you face a problem, Google it, you get a solution. But in terms
Yeah.
of Web3, this is a problem. So that's why there are vibrant communities who help you out and stuff like that. Also, specifically, the learning curve is very different in Web3. So you have to choose the right chain that you want to build on top of it. So if you're building an EVM chain, learn Solidity and you can get started. But if you want to build on any of these other L ones like Near Protocol, Solana, the learning curve is very different. So you have to learn Rust or Go or whatever is compatible with that particular blockchain. You need to be little well versed because you have to code onto that language, right? So that's one another learning curve is another problem. Another thing is Web3 lacks a lot of consumer facing now. So you don't really know, or if you don't really, you need to be little consumer focused as well, because not everybody understands decentralization. So if I go to my mom and tell download MetaMask, so she would be like, why would I need MetaMask, right?
Yeah.
She cannot buy vegetables or groceries, or she cannot even buy anything from MetaMask in India, to be very specific.
Yeah.
So this education evolution needs to happen in India so that we, or globally, not just India, so that we can adapt Web3 in a day-to-day life. So I see Web3 moreover as a feature rather than an entire industry. Of course, it's an industry, but decentralization is a feature because people should have a toggle to switch it on and off, right? If my parents don't need decentralization, it's okay. You can use the surface web. But if I need a decentralization, I want to hide my privacy, I should be able to toggle and use decentralized networks. So I think this is something that is being short in the industry. If this particular barrier can be solved, nothing else.
Yeah, I completely agree. So currently we have some barrier, like you mentioned, the education barrier, and there's it's not very easy to buy a crypto and have it in your account, right? So if you want to get open a bank account, that's more easier than understanding the whole crypto thing and not sharing the private key and securing everything. Even if after do everything right, there is also a possibility that somewhere you might have gone wrong and some incident may happen, right? So education is the most important currently, so it will develop in the coming years, I hope so. Also, I think that's all for this session. So you can provide the conclusion and more about Lumos Lab.
Yeah, sure. So, first of all, thank you so much for joining in. Secondly, we at Lumos Labs, we are building a metaverse for developers, wherein you can easily sign in, connect with other devs, talk more about what Web3 is. So it's an entire journey that can drive you of a social immersive journey for you, so that you can talk, learn, earn, get opportunities and whatnot on the metaverse. So that's what we are planning to build. Apart from this, we have our roadshows, we have our meetups, hackathons happening on a day-to-day basis. So feel free to sign up to our metaverse whitelist. The link is as simple as lumoslabs.co. You can find the metaverse link there. Join in the whitelist, and as soon as it's live, we'll drop you free NFTs, and yep, you can be a part of the immersive experience that we're trying to build.
Okay, we will also share the Lumos Lab, all these links at our YouTube description so that anyone can easily access this. So thanks a lot for coming. It was very great meeting you and knowing about the Ethereum upgrade and about you and Lumos Lab. So let's meet again, and yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys, for inviting me. It's a pleasure being here. I've also dropped my Twitter handle. So if anybody has any questions, want to connect more on the Web3 space, talk 101. My calendars are pretty open on the weekends. So I'll be happy to hop on a call, talk more about anything Web3. So yeah, thank you so much for inviting.